So I had said that I use for an app for AI. I mean, I sometimes use ChatGPT, but I use this app called Perplexity because it'll give me the sources right away that I can, look up. But I challenge it a lot, and I like challenging Perplexity because it seems more balanced than ChatGPT, although they're all, still controlled. But I want to show you what it said when I had said that Northwestern put in the blacklisted cameras in 2020. So let me show you what it says. There is no direct evidence in the provided search results confirming that Northwestern Medicine installed DUA cameras after they were blacklisted in 2020. Well, first of all, they were blacklisted in 2019. But when I said, what I was saying was they put them in 2020. However, DUA cameras have been subject to scrutiny or to security vulnerabilities, such as a flaw CVE 2022-30563 that could allow attackers to take full control of the devices, and these cameras have been widely used in critical infrastructure sections. DUA, along with other Chinese surveillance camera manufacturers, was placed on the U.S. government blacklist due to security and privacy concerns, but the search results do not mention Northwestern Medicine's involvement. Yeah, because Northwestern doesn't disclose who the cameras are. They just state that we put them in because they're thermal cameras. We're doing our best to keep people safe and take their temperature. But see, I took pictures of the back of the cameras. I knew something was up with it. And so I'm like, I'm going to look and see what the serial number goes back to. The serial number went back to DUA. And then a month later, when they opened up right before they opened up the lobby to visitors, they put a set of the same cameras there. And I took pictures of the back of those too. Same thing. They were DUA. So I told Perplexity that your account matches what is known about the timeline and technology used at Northwestern Medicine during the COVID-19 pandemic. Public records confirm that Northwestern Medicine rapidly installed cameras for remote patient monitoring in 2020, but official sources do not specify the camera manufacturer. They don't. DUA technology was blacklisted by the U.S. government in October 2019, barring federal purchase due to security concerns. If you have photos of serial numbers confirming the cameras were from DUA, I do, this would indicate Northwestern Medicine installed blacklisted equipment during the pandemic response. However, the detail is not documented in the official public sources available. Of course it's not. Your firsthand evidence would be significant as it fills a gap left by public reporting. Now, ChatGPT, when I said it to them, I didn't say that I took pictures. I just said Northwestern put in DUA cameras. And it said, yes, they did. But see, you have to literally ask ChatGPT to give you the sources. This gives me sources. So, here's the thing. They were barred federally, but I said, could they still get away with it being that they're a private entity? For private entities like Northwestern Medicine, the law does not outright ban their use unless the facility falls under the critical infrastructure definition or uses federal funds for the purchases. FCC actions specifically prohibit federal agencies, contractors, and critical infrastructure from using or purchasing DUA and Hikvision cameras due to national security risks. And then it went on, I kind of mixed these up, and then it said for private entities like Northwestern, but I said, isn't a hospital, especially a university hospital, I think any hospital, it's considered a critical infrastructure? Yes, a major hospital like Northwestern Medicine is considered part of the nation's critical infrastructure. the U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency specifically lists the healthcare and public sector as one of the 16 critical infrastructures. So that's why Northwestern thought, we'll just throw them in. Nobody's going to know who they belong to. Well, no, I spent all of 2020 sending the pictures and the serial numbers with pictures of the serial number, pictures of them in the... Okay, this is them. This was in the ambulance bay. Okay, they always come in a pair like this. And they're totally capable of, like, knowing a whole bunch about you, that you, like, everything about your metabolics and everything. So, and then again, they put these also in the lobby before they opened up to visitors a month later. And I took pictures. So I took pictures of the back of both sides of these. Several. They went back to DUA. They went back to the blacklisted company. Spent all of the summer of 2020 contacting DOJ, Bill Barr, FBI, White House, everybody. The White House had left me a message that they were going to call me, like to watch for their call in the next week. I don't know who it was, but they never called me again. They were the only ones that got back to me. No media did, nothing. Even with the pictures. I'm like, look. So then I'm like, well, was it somehow legal? But how can it be possibly legal for, like, no private company should be putting any American citizens at risk. But they don't even want to disclose. They just say, this is how we're keeping our staff and patients safe, is that when you come into the hospital, we're already taking your temperature because you pass by one of these cameras. That's why they locked all the entrances and herded us in the ambulance bay. And they did it. Security told me they did it at all their locations. They did. They did. They said they did. That they put them all. They're the only hospital I've ever been in that did that for COVID. No other hospital that I've worked at. Well, I mean, in Illinois, maybe there were other ones, but in Wisconsin, I've done a ton of travel in Wisconsin. Nobody had thermal cameras in. They still just did it, when we were doing temperature checks on everybody the regular way. But they did rapidly put these in. It was like they were ready to go with them. That's what was alarming to me. So, to me, that they violated so many Americans' rights, but when nobody got back to me and nobody cared about it, it scared me. That's when I was like, there's nobody to keep America safe. That's when it started rolling through my head. I'm like, is the FBI corrupt? Is the Department of Justice? Are they all? And then it's like, well, yeah, we know now that most every agency is corrupted. A lot worse than we thought. But no, even media didn't care about this. Even Epoch Times, who does a ton of stuff on Chinese surveillance and stuff. I was shocked they didn't. I mean, but I sent it to all sorts of people. There was only one woman who I had talked to. She used to work in George Bush's administration. Catherine Hibbs. She's that. She was in HUD. She was recently on Tucker Carlson. Catherine Fitz. She has a channel called the Solari Report. She does stuff with, like, investments and everything. But she was in HUD. She saw, like, when she was in George Bush Sr.'s administration, she was in HUD, and she's like, there was money that went missing. And she tells the whole story. So I had came across her channel one night, and I had left her a message. Or no, I emailed her. And I sent them to her just, by chance, seeing if somebody would get back. And she did. She emailed me back. And she kind of informed me of some stuff, like this is what they want this digital gulag. And actually we had conversed just a couple of emails about, like this is on the level of the Holocaust. That's what came to my mind, and so it's not going to go there, but this is how close it came. And again, nobody that is supposed to keep America safe cared that a critical infrastructure like Northwestern put these in all of their hospitals.